Pardon me. I just, I have to, I'm a mess. I just got in from a 3 mile run and a 1.5 mile walk. The 1.5 mile walk was accidental. It was terrible. I have to tell you about it. I have to tell you about it right now. Oh, I got sweat in my eyes. So I went for a run and I'm minimally dressed. And I got back to the house and I went for my key to open the door and I didn't have it. And it's just a single house key that's on a little, like a blue cord. And there's nobody home. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh no. Where's my key? I checked like everywhere, like, and I don't have it. And so I start to get really worried. Oh no, I'm locked out of my house. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I could try to climb in a window and have the cops called, like, wait for my wife to come home in 4 hours, or I got a car key. I could drive around in the air conditioning for, what am I going to do? And I had a moment where I thought, well, I guess it's an unexpected game of hide and seek. And if you know me, you know how this is going to play out. I either win at hiding or I win at finding. But I'm going to win, so one way or the other. I've accidentally hidden the key from myself. Okay. And so I thought, I was like, okay, so what do you do? When you lose something, you go back to the last place that you know that you had it, that you remember having it, and then you should relive whatever you did to get where you wound up. And so I was like, oh, I remember now. I stopped over at the park to do some pull-ups on the pull-up bar, and they were hurt. I had it in my hand, and it was hurting when I was pulling up. So I tucked it in the waistband of my running shorts because I got no pockets. And I remember it, the little nag in my mind at the back of my mind at the time, going like, that's not a very smart idea. Like, you'll lose it. But I don't listen to myself, so no. And then I thought, okay, so I lost it. The last place I had it was over at the park, so I start walking back towards the park. And then as I'm walking, I start to smile. I'm like, well, this is a little bit of an adventure here. Like, this is fun. Maybe you don't think that way, but like I don't know. It depends on how you. It depends on your attitude towards the situation. I could have been stressed out and worried, and instead I decided, well, I'm having a little fun here. This is an adventure. And then about halfway to the park, I remembered at one point in my run, after I left the park, I heard like a metal ping sound, like on the ground behind me and to my left. And at the time, I thought I must have stepped on a piece of sheet metal or something when I was running, and like, I don't know. But I didn't feel anything under my foot. And I was like, time for this. I don't listen to myself, right? That was where I dropped the key. And so I remembered, halfway to the park, I remembered kind of the area and where I dropped it. And I was like, oh boy, this is getting even better. So I went back to the park and started like, okay, I'm gonna retrace my footsteps, and I'm having fun. I'm praying, oh Lord, help me find this key. Now this is a bit of an unexpected adventure. Not quite sure how it's gonna play out. Oh, that's so good. And I got to where I thought I remembered dropping the key or hearing the ping sound that was the key that I wasn't aware of at the time. Man, I wasn't there. There were some cars, and I thought, oh no, I hope nobody like drove over and parked on top of it, because then I'm gonna have to go crawling underneath the cars to find the key. Now I'm still not even sure exactly where it is. One couple came out and got in their car, and I waved hi to them, and like I walked around a little bit of a circle waiting for them to leave just to double check. Like if they leave, I'm gonna go. It wasn't there. They left. I came around the corner, and I was like, well, like it had to be between the park and my house. And so I'll go all the way to my house, and then I'll turn around and come back. And if I don't find it, then I guess I got to come up with a second plan or so forth. And I see it on the road, like it's right in the middle of the road, and I just start laughing. I'm just like, this is so great. What an adventure. You're thinking, I can't believe you're getting all wound up over losing your keys. Well, it reminds me of a section from G.K. Chesterton's In Defense of Sanity book, and he's writing on certain modern writers, and he had a little passage in there about writing stories. There's a difference between writing a story and living a story. When you read a story, you read it from the outside, but the people in the story are living it from the inside. So, good stories then force people to realize that life is not a thing from the outside, but a thing from the inside. And the people on the inside don't know how it's going to go, and maybe not even aware that they're in a story. So, let's see here. What does he say? Let's see here. The element of adventure begins to exist. For an adventure is by nature a thing that comes to us. We cannot create adventure. It has to come to us. We have to be in some way powerless over it, or not. We didn't start it happening. So it is a thing that chooses us, not a thing that we choose. So the adventure has to be thrust upon you. You have to discover that you're in an adventure. You can't create it. And the only exception that I know of this in literature is Frodo and Sam in the Lord of the Rings, when they're stuck in the caves of Mordor and they're about ready to, like, they're almost dead, and they're about ready, and Sam says something to the effect of, "Oh, I wonder if it was." This reminds me somewhat of these ancient epic adventures that I've heard about and so forth. And Frodo says, "Don't you realize like you're in one now?" And it slowly dawns on Sam. Wait, what? Frodo's like, "Oh yeah, people are going to sing about you, Samwise the Bravehearted," or something like that. And Sam's like, can't believe it at first. What? You mean this is an adventure too, or we're just in the middle of it? And I feel like that's breaking the fourth wall in terms of literature in a sense. So like, I don't know. I found my key. It was a bit stressful, but it was a delightful experience because I made it an adventure. You can choose not to make it an adventure, I suppose. But stress is not resolved by avoidance, but by action. You have to take a look around you, make a plan, and then execute the plan, and then change it as needed as you come along to it. And that's why mathematics and literature are useful for all people to study. In literature, you read the stories from the outside and you discuss them and you embody them and so forth. In mathematics, like, you're in the adventure on the inside and you have to be deliberate in planning and stuff like that. And so I don't know. How are things going for you today? Well or badly? Well, if it's badly, can you turn it into an adventure? Off you go. Have fun. I don't know how it's going to end. Neither do you yet. Play it out.